Hey, good looking. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, I'm Kendra Morgan Official, and I put out content weekly centered around makeup brushes that aren't Morphe, single eyeshadows such as today's, and some sunscreen. So if you like that kind of content, make sure you subscribe. And let's get started. Today I'll be featuring for you guys my inventory and organization of some of my Coastal Scents shadows. We'll be looking and featuring today just the yellow and orange category. Before I get into the inventory and show you guys a little bit about the spreadsheet that I run, let's go ahead and take a look and see some footage on me getting the yellows and oranges organized in my collection. So take a look.
Okay, so green is this little green?
See, to me that looks like a green.
Whoa.
Flip it over though. It's chiffon, lemon chiffon.
It's slimy.
Yeah, it's lemon chiffon.
Whoa, it's slimy.
So that's crazy. This one's the one that's in question at the moment, right?
But this one, now swatch this one. See if this one is, wow.
And we can swatch that one too. Yep, we can do that, both of them. Okay, so I want you to swatch this one. Go ahead, Benny, swatch it. Oh, let me hold that for you. And just put it, yeah, just put it on your arm wherever you'd like.
That's gonna be your first one.
Do it again, because you actually didn't really. Let me see that. That definitely looks green, doesn't it? Yeah, let's put that in the green pile. Okay. So even though this says Gypsy Gold, I think I'm going to put it in the green.
And now this doesn't look like, and now what is that?
Yeah, that lemon chiffon, I'm with you on that. Let's also swatch that one.
So I'm going to swatch it on, and then quote them, Mommy.
Okay.
How do you quote them?
Hang on just a second. I didn't even see you strike it. All right, do it again. Do it again.
Mommy, how do you quote them? Oh, this.
Yeah, that definitely like. Well, actually, do you see the yellow? I think it's yellow. It's definitely got like a yellow-green shift to it. So looks like that one will stay. Okay. So you guys got to see a little bit of that chaos and that craziness and that organization, but it's mine and it's here to stay, so I hope you enjoyed that aspect of it. Now I want to take you guys in on a tutorial where I actually experiment with some of the shadows just to see whether or not they're going to be in my orange palette or my browns palette. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, check it out right now. So we'll be using Coastal Scents Eyeshadows, and today I thought I'm going to see about these shadows to make sure that they're actually in the orange category because they like teeter on that brown side. So you guys want to see that. You guys probably don't know this, but I film everything in manual because if you film in auto and you're filming a tutorial, what'll end up happening is this will go in focus and this goes out of focus, and you'll just have that problem. And you've seen people who film in auto, I know you have, and it's really annoying, but they'll just start getting a good blend and you're like, so relaxing and satisfying, and then it just cuts away because their hand moves in front like this, and now the camera is focusing on the point that's closest to them because that's just what the camera knows to do. It doesn't know to focus right here on your eye. Anyways, enough about that. Let's bring out this French Vanilla shade from my LA Colors, that all over the lid, since I'm just doing a nice soft smoky look, and it's, I would say, fairly neutral. Next shade, yeah, let's go into Tuscan Terracotta. Leave me a comment down below if you think Tuscan Terracotta should go in the oranges. Let's go ahead and buff it onto the lid a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing an orange vibe. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm just kind of getting it out on the outer corner here. But I'm seeing an orange vibe for sure, for sure. Not too much brown. These are the shades that I really have struggled with the most when inventorying. Is like, does it go in browns? Is it a tan? Is it an orange? What is it? So when I'm inventorying, I'm just adopting Sydney Grace's system. I know I can't be the only one that's purchased shadows I've already purchased before. And the reason for that being is because we tend to have something that we gravitate towards. We really, really like a certain shade, and that just really speaks to us, or we know it looks good on us. And so just automatically that's what we gravitate towards. That's what we like. That's our taste. It's called our taste, you know. It makes sense. But then what happens is you place an order, then a few months down the road, they're having a sale, something that you can't pass up. Yeah, I'm definitely catching like an orange vibe, so that's definitely going to go in there. Then Coral Treasure. I feel like anything with the name coral or orange, marmalade, something like that is going to definitely speak in terms of like orange. But anyways, back to what I was saying, I will be inventorying all of my shadows and showing you guys how I keep things organized, and you guys can adopt that. Feel free to adopt it. In fact, that's what I'm there for. I'm trying to teach you how to better keep your stash organized, even if it's a small stash of just one palette. It's better to, that would be even worse if I just had one, you know, teensy weensy little palette here. I end up buying the same shadow twice. How awful would that be? Because, you know, you already have that. You don't have that many shadows to begin with. You really can't afford to buy the same shadow twice. I had way less and I was buying doubles. So, no judgment here. Ooh, beautiful. Now, I don't know what... I've got all the Coastal Scents, pink and reds, purple and mauves, and whites and blacks left to inventory. Plus these here, these orange shades that... I wasn't sure if they were orange or not, so I thought I'd get on camera. I'm sitting on an old box. Too heavy for it. Oh well. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So, it's a little uncomfortable. All right, my knee's up here now. This is the shade Caramel Ice. Been using the Coastal Scents shadows for about 3 weeks now. No complaints. No complaints. You see that? That is excellent pigmentation. Still not gonna beat out in my #1 seat, Sydney Grace, but she's coming real stinking close. I feel like we could even put a little bit of, you know, another shade down here. Let's do. So this was Caramel Ice, and I feel like that's a little bit of a peachiness. Yeah, it's got some peach to it. I mean, look at that. That is, I mean, and all I did was just do swap. Now, the consistency is a lot finer. It's not like a foiled shade like what Sydney Grace is, but that's what Sydney Grace wanted to bring to the table. So looking down here, ooh, this is Golden Avocado. I think this might have been a green. This might go in my greens, folks. This is always so difficult because golden says yellow. Let me see the swatch here. And avocado says green. So I'm not gonna say green. I'm not. If anything, it's gonna go yellow-orange. Let's do yellow-orange. This shade right here, Midnight Rodeo. I think I'll just put that on the outside. This is, no, that's a matte. I don't want that one. And sometimes I feel like I can do it if I have my phone like right there. I'll just like tap it, you know, and then I want to put the B footage in. Then my laptop won't let me, so then it just snaps me back to reality, and I'm like, I really can't do this. I mean, I can put B footage in, but it's very difficult, and it takes a really long time. Not because I don't know what I'm doing, it's because I have to wait so long for my computer to catch up to how fast my brain works. And my brain doesn't work fast, so that's not like me complimenting myself. This is light bronze. It looks a little creased. That's definitely a brown. Yeah. So let me, like, look at this, guys. I'm not touching very hard. These are so bridal-esque, but it's a very, very signature trait. Yeah, that's definitely brown, and so that's definitely like a gold. It's got to go in the yellows, the yellow oranges. I'm so glad I'm sitting here filming this with you all. And just just kind of like buff it around, I guess. I don't know. I don't even have a mirror. Oh, actually it's turning out just fine. That one's just a little bit like too blue though. It's like way blue. Okay, so here we go. Last one. Just mark my words, like eventually one of these days I'm gonna get a studio set up so that I can have 2 cameras, so you're gonna see what I see down here, you're gonna see up here, and you're gonna see from an angle. Like, I'm gonna set it up, it's gonna be legit. You watch, you wait, like mark my words. 2021 is the year you will all watch it unfold. Because I already know how to do it, I just don't have the stuff yet. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. I would, if I could go back, I would change this shadow and it wouldn't be this like bluish color. I would switch it to something more like warmer if I could. That's the only thing. It looked kind of pinky. I'm gonna have my mirror in here for a second, but it looked kind of pinky, but it's really actually not. So there you have it. Let's brush a little of this bronzy shade on the bottom. And I like how it's so thick. This is putting like a really thick underneath. Just kind of blends it out for me. All right, there you have it, folks. I'm gonna go put some lashes on. See you guys at the finish line. All right, guys, that's the tutorial. Smash that like button if you found this content very helpful for you so far. Now brings me to the section of the video that I want to show you guys how I inventory and keep my stash organized and all of the shadows in front of me so that I can see exactly what I have. So let's go ahead without any further ado and take a look at the Excel spreadsheet that I'm putting together to organize my Coastal Scents shadows. All right, so we are here, we're with the spreadsheet, and we are into it. We're gonna get this all organized, and I'm gonna show you how. So on my Terra Moons video that I launched, which I'll go ahead and link in the eye and down below right now, I showed you guys a little bit of an introduction to Excel, but I didn't go into very much detail. It was just basically if you already knew Excel, you're gonna be good to go. So today we're gonna dive just a little bit further. I'm gonna keep continuing on with the series, keep adding more and more, because I'm learning along with you guys on how to teach. So let's get started. Here's my Coastal Scents spreadsheet. So it's an Excel spreadsheet. I know you can use OneNote. I haven't dove into that. My husband has a laptop with OneNote on it. I don't think mine does, but at any rate, I'm using Excel. You can use OneNote, and I was told it was exactly like Excel except for free, and we all like free. So first and foremost, I organize my shadows by brands. I keep all my brands separated, and that is just mainly because of my YouTube channel and duping purposes. I like to look for certain brands to dupe with first because of formulation or price point. So I always tend to use my brands, and I like to keep them organized and together and segregated. So for that reason, I have tabs, and I'll show you guys. So all you have to do is down here in the corner where I clicked this little plus sheet, and you do need Excel 2013 or newer, so just make sure that you have that. I think the older one also had the tabs as well. I don't think this is anything new, to be honest with you. I think we've had tabs for a long time, so you should be good. There's a sheet right there, and then I can go in and hit rename and name it whatever else. So let's say I have Alien Cosmetics. I can now go in and make a tab for them. Okay. I select a tab color that associates with the brand, and that will be featured in a later video why I chose the colors that I do, and it's going to go into pressing issues, but that's further down the road. So pick a color that stands out to you, or if you're not a colors person, leave them without colors. They'll just look just like this right here, the Alien Cosmetics. If you want, add a tab color of your choice, and I might give it a little bit of a different, name. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete this tab because I don't actually own any Alien Cosmetics, and I don't I don't know that they have any singles. They do, actually. I think they have loose pigments. So, okay. Coastal Scents. Again, let's go ahead and look into this. Here's the name. You pull down the drop-down menu, and you'll have every single name that you have for your single eyeshadows. Today, I'm going to filter by yellows and oranges, since that's what we're organizing today. And now you can see I've brought up all of the yellow and orange shadows that I have. What's wonderful about this is that when you go to dupe a palette and there's, multiple colors. So let's say I'm wanting to dupe the Manny MUA Lunar Cosmetics. What's the newest one he released? Well, anyways, you get my drift. The eclipse of some sort, dark eclipse, moon eclipse. I don't remember exactly what it was he launched, but it's a cute palette. So you've got some browns in there. I know there's like a couple of teals maybe and some blues. You can see where having a categorized color story is going to help me drill down and find a color that's going to best fit for that dupe. Okay, because basically you have to break down each and every single shadow and say, okay, I got to find a metallic blue in my collection, or I've got to find a metallic, XYZ in my collection. So let's go and look for it. I classify golds under yellow. Oranges are a little bit tricky. I know you guys have seen the tutorial just now, and you saw where I'm playing around with some shadows and saying, okay, does this go in orange or does this go in brown? It's really difficult, and it's really subjective as well. I'm choosing to classify many of my tans, my orangey tans, as oranges to keep my browns very concise and just kind of organized. Because when you really start looking at a lot of the oranges and the yellows that I have, let me go grab the palette really quick. When you start looking at the color stories and you start looking at all of the shadows, you can see that some of these could easily fall under a brown. Like this could be a brown. And that's pretty much an orange, but that is, that could be a brown. That could even fall under a brown if you really wanted to get technical about it. So you really just have to, be subjective, but also I'm going to say be consistent with your organizing. So if you start with, browns that their undertone blends out to orange, and you know that it's a matte shadow, so it's going to be used as a transition, and you're labeling that as orange because that's the undertone that blends out, be consistent throughout all of your shadows. Okay? So what I also want to bring attention to is that you can filter under multiple columns. So now I want to just look at the shimmers. I don't want to look at any mattes. I don't want to look at any satins. Coastal Scents' satin formula happens to be what I would like to call satin matte, where they perform more like a matte than they do a shimmer. So it's closer to a matte than a shimmer. And so the satin formula can actually help dupe some of those matte shadows, I believe. Here I'm looking at all of the yellow that are shimmers. The yellow oranges, that are shimmers. Now let me also define something for you guys. A lot of my duping, I've already started that series up again, so I'll be launching more dupe videos soon because I'm finishing up my inventory. I'm finding, yes, I have the shadow. Now I don't know where it's at. Which palette is it in? And for the most part, it's pretty easy because the palettes that I'm duping are very, very color strong on one particular color. But if I was to say dupe a brown, I would probably be sitting around going through several different of my Makeup Geek palettes because I have 3 of them. I use 3 of the Megavolt empty palettes, and they're all full of shadows. So what I would suggest and what will happen, and like I said before in my Terra Moons video, it's a living document, but I'm going to be labeling, now come on, A through, what would it be, G, H, something like that, down here, A through G. And then I'm going to be labeling 1 through, looks like 5. Yes. So Within that, I can have a placement order as well. So here on my columns, I can add a column for placement. I'm just using like the bingo number system. So let's say A2 is where that is. So I'm going to put that placement in there. That's a lot of shadows to go in and inventory and do. But if you break down and filter, just like I have, filter for the color, which is the palette that I've selected, because I organize all of my color stories into their associated palettes, except for Makeup Geeks, I don't have that. And some of the smaller ones like ColourPop, that's not in any particular order. Sydney Grace also, I don't have enough shadows to put them in respective, palettes. But I can then go ahead and give them and assign a place and then at least know somewhat where it is. And that really cuts down on your going in and grabbing these shadows. And admittedly, I poke a lot of my shadows as well. So that's going to help with that if you were so inclined to do that. Now, there's a caveat to this. If you stagger your shadows, which you can do with this palette because it can actually hold up to 48. So if you stagger them, then you actually end up with another row. Going to be really difficult to do. Just going to say that it's somewhat a little bit more difficult to visualize. But nonetheless, there's an idea. And then again, go in, select your categories, and then filter. I'm not doing that as of yet. That'll probably be later in the year. But just to let you guys know, I'm seeing that trend where I'm like, okay, I've got this shadow. Now, which one is it? And where is it? That kind of thing. So that's probably where I'm going to be moving towards in the future. But let's go back. I think that's about all I have to say for the organization is, again, you just put your name, your color story if you choose, or maybe you don't need a color story, you just want the placement in your palette. So you've got palette alpha and then it's A1 or A2 or A3. However you want to organize it, that's going to help you remember where it's at and to which palette it belongs to. Okay, and then I would suggest somewhat of a finish because oftentimes, I just don't really think that putting a yellow shimmer in my crease is ideal for any kind of eye look that I'm going for. Maybe in the future that'll change, but for right now, I do kind of want to know the finish, whether it's a shimmer versus a matte, not necessarily whether it's a satin. Multi-chromes is pretty easy because most of my indie brands, that's what I'm going for, is the multi-duochromes. But again, having whether or not it's shiny or flat is also something that's ideal. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'm gonna see you on the other side. All right, that looks like that wraps up everything. So I gave you guys some raw footage of me putting together the shadows, had some helpers helping me do that, and I put some swatches on the board for you guys. I showed you guys a tutorial where I'm actually, really hands-on and focused and driven towards finding out what exactly is orange versus browns. And I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial, and you got to look into my spreadsheet to see how exactly the organization is coming along with my Coastal Scents shadows. Thanks so much for joining me. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because we got more content like this in the future. And I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.